All right, so we are going to move on to our guest here. You know who we got? I said, you know who we got?
Who do we got?
We got Ross Allison, founder of Advanced Ghost Hunters of Seattle, Tacoma. Cool. A leader of ghost tours, author of paranormal literature, nonfiction, I think, all of it, and active in doing investigations, has done some high-profile stuff, I guess, traveled a bit, and has enjoyed some success in his field. So let's just bring him on now. Ross Allison, are you here with us? Oh, wait, sorry. Ross Allison, are you here with us?
I'm here.
All right.
Hear me?
Yeah, sorry, man. I've done that twice tonight now.
That's all right.
Rookie.
So how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Good, man. You're out in Seattle?
I am in Seattle right now. I'm actually in my office over at Spooked in Seattle, which is the ghost tours in the area.
Spooked in Seattle, out in Seattle, if you guys want to, if you're in the area and you want to find out about the local haunted joints. So thanks again for coming on the show. I'm checking out what you sent me and everything, but before we forget, because I will forget, you've got a new book out, and let's just talk about that first. It's called Tacoma's Haunted History. What can people expect to find in this book?
Well, one of the things that we did this for Arcadia Press, so if you're familiar with them, they actually love to be more picture happy than text. So it was kind of a new thing for me because I love to do a lot of history and tell you a lot more details about ghosts and the encounters that they experience in these places. But it still was a fun book to put together.
Sure.
So we covered a lot of the historic buildings in the downtown Tacoma area. And it's a beautiful book, especially for those who like a lot of the pictures of historic locations.
Is Tacoma? I'm not really familiar with the history. Is
That's
this
what I was going to ask.
Is this like an old West boomtown kind of thing? I know a lot of the older towns up there have that kind of history. Is that the kind of area we're talking about?
Oh yeah. Well, you're looking at younger cities compared to like the East Coast. You know, Seattle itself is just over 150 years old. So Tacoma is just a little older than that. And so you got a little bit of history here. We have our fair share of drama as well.
Sure.
From the gold rush. You also have, the old, cowboys and Indians type of stuff going on here in the Northwest.
So in those cities, if you see a ghost, it's most likely somebody you knew, pretty much. They've been there for, living there for...
Or somebody, yeah. Wouldn't go back to, the Pilgrims. That
could probably trace it back pretty easy.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's plenty of paranormal stories from up in that area. I know I've read a lot about a lot of stuff in Portland and the old slave trade that used to run out of Portland and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stories based around that. But what kind of stuff goes on in Tacoma? What are some of your favorite of the stories that you found around there?
Oh my gosh. One of my favorite stories actually is the Jake Bird story. People aren't aware of this, but he actually was captured in Tacoma because he had actually killed a mother and daughter in their home late one evening when he was trying to break in. And he killed them both with an axe. And this took place in a home in Tacoma, and the police later caught him near the house. And when they brought him in for questioning and everything, he admitted to killing well over 80 people.
Wow.
So
what was his name?
If this is
Jake
all
Bird?
true, this would actually make him the #1 serial killer in the U.S. But there was no way to prove.
Did he kill everybody with an axe?
He was directly involved in a lot of these murders that he claimed to be involved in. But it's actually a pretty interesting story because also before he was executed, he put a curse on anybody that was involved in his death. And shortly after he was executed, a good handful of people actually died shortly after that, and they were all directly involved in his death.
So what is the main body of evidence? Is the main body of evidence like his confession to police, and they never came up with much else? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so
yes.
The people that died, they were jury members?
So a lot of the people that he claimed to have killed were vagrants as well. So nobody ever made any claims to the bodies, or maybe most of the bodies were never even found.
Okay.
But his claim was, he had killed well over 80 people.
What year are we talking again?
We're talking like 1930.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, we just found a picture of him. He's kind of creepy looking guy, actually, huh? What were you gonna say, Andrew?
Oh yeah.
His execution was 1949.
Go ahead.
Oh, 1949. Okay.
Oh, 49. Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We get made fools of all the time. We just we got a fact checker in the studio and quickly found out how wrong we were about almost everything. So that's so Jake Bird, that is interesting because I know, like me and a lot of the people who follow the show are kind of interested in serial killers, and that's never come across. I've never come across that before. What else has happened in Tacoma? What else you got?
Oh gosh, we got all kinds of interesting stories. We have a costume shop in Tacoma that actually a young man was actually found hanging. And they believe that it was a suicide, but many people believe that it was actually a murder. And his ghost is known to haunt the costume shop. And many people visit that place for that story alone.
I think we actually covered this on the show at one point. I think we found that sounds so familiar to me. I think we may have covered an article about that on the show at one point. I'm sorry to cut you off. I think we've got like a second delay between us.
Yeah,
cutting each other off. But the co-host has a question for you here. Go ahead.
I had a few questions. Okay, did the first guy kill all his victims with an axe? Supposedly, that's a good question.
No. There's very different stories on how he killed other individuals. But, the mother and daughter were killed by an axe because that was the closest thing that he could find. I believe it was found in the backyard.
So he probably just killed people with all sorts of shit then, right?
Just whatever
was closest. Whatever was the closest thing to find. And
he was like the MacGyver of serial killers. Just break into a house and just string together a weapon and just go for it.
And one more question. The costume guy, did he dress up in the most ridiculous thing he could find before he did it? Because that's what I would have done.
Well, unfortunately, it wasn't a costume shop at the time that he was hung. It was actually a gentleman's club.
Oh.
So, and it was a very secretive club, too. And so there was beliefs that he may have uncovered maybe some investment type of stuff, and that's one reason why he might have been killed.
Hey, there was a time in U.S. history where a lot of the prominent people they did this stuff in plain view, where they would have their gentlemen's clubs or their sex clubs or their little underground gambling and stuff, and it was kind of just you were supposed to turn your eye to it, or else you could, you could really be dealt with, pretty quick and easy.
Oh, yeah.
That was a definite time in this country. So did you? I'm sorry.
The sad thing is it's actually still a common practice.
Oh, sure. It's just not as
we live in a society where now we just want to turn away and not look at what's going on. If you see a woman screaming, you just turn away because you don't want to get involved.
That's what I would do.
They're teaching women that if they're being raped, not to scream for help, scream fire. And, most likely people will come to your rescue.
Maybe someone will come help you.
And that's sad.
That is sad. Yeah. No, that definitely that definitely says a lot. Like, yeah. I mean, and there is some weird part of I don't know if it's societal influence or if it's just part of the human condition where there is like a, you don't want to get involved in situations that don't concern you. And you've seen this time and time again. People will make videos where they show people getting bullied and no one helps, or there's a dead body on the sidewalk for 36 hours before anybody notices it, or like all kinds of shit like that, And I wonder if it's more, societal influence, or if that's how people naturally are, What do you think about that?
Well, I think a lot of it is, unfortunately, we deal with a lot of people that will take advantage of our hospitality. And so you get burned so many times, you don't want to take the chance that, is this somebody that really needs our help, or are they just going to scam me and, say, oh, I just need some, money, and then, that's the kind of situation that we deal with.
That's probably a big part of it. Yeah.
And then plus, there's a lot of crazy people out there, and you see somebody screaming for their life. You don't want to be the one that's ended up going to be killed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm in a life or death situation. Come be in it with me.
Right. Yeah.
Now.
And the other thing is, a lot of people are so jaded that they don't want. There's like so many crazy people from the other end too that'll walk around saying they're after me, they're gonna kill me, some bag lady or something. It's like, well, you can't stop every time somebody says they're being murdered. It's just you'd be there, you never get anywhere,
never get home.
Yeah, no, but so I forget how we got off topic here. But
let me ask a question: Have you seen a ghost yourself personally?
I'll be honest with you guys. I've been doing this for over 25 years. I've been in some of the most haunted places throughout the world, and I have yet to see a full-on apparition. I've seen shadowy figures. I pretty much have been, experienced a lot of the common phenomena: being touched, being scratched. I've been pushed. But the closest I would say to an apparition is seeing a shadowy figure walk across the room, and that's about it.
We've actually both experienced.
I wish I had, but maybe one day it will happen for me.
Yeah, we've both kind of had a lot of the common ones too, and there is some validation there because I've had the hobby of exploring a lot of these so-called haunted locations since I was a kid and stuff, and I've had a lot of these little things that they add up together to a sort of a feeling of I've really experienced something, but it would be nice to get that one just beyond a shadow of a doubt. Hey, I just talked to Jimi Hendrix for 3 hours, in my room or something. That one real contact or something. That would be. Are you still kind of searching for that? Do you feel like?
Well, I am still searching for answers. And I actually had a woman on the news, asking that question, like, well, if you see an apparition, is that going to be the closure for you? Are you done? And it's like, no. I've pretty much experienced everything else. So I think if I have that, it's just going to drive me more. When I have that one unique experience, it's going to be like, wow, now I want more. It's addicting. It really is. You get bitten by that paranormal bug, and you just can't stop. Once you have that piece of evidence, it's like, wow, I cannot debunk this. I don't know what this is.
And that's got to be another jumping off point. That's when you're totally, I guess, more. Yeah, that wouldn't be the end. That would be a total renewal. And that'd
be the beginning.
Yeah, that'd be the beginning. Really. Yeah.
If I had it my way,
right.
I picture 200 years into the future. There's museums with prisoner ghosts in the glass boxes that we can go and laugh at and look at and be like, ha, look at your funny old shit clothes.
you never had a PlayStation.
Yeah, look what we do now. And you're trapped in there, and we don't have to feed y'all.
That's that movie 13 Ghosts where I
was just gonna say, 13 Ghosts.
Well, they weren't. That was a little different. That was a big machine.
That was exactly that. Well, it was a pretty cool movie though.
But yeah, you're right. That's how I'd like to see them in museums. On display.
Just walking through, yeah.
No, not walking through, confined to a small space.
No, you're walking through.
Oh, we're walking through.
So,
I'm not going to stay there forever now with all them shit ghosts.
So, how many investigations would you say you've done if you had to estimate?
Oh my gosh, I've done so many. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 25 years. I would say, well over 1,000. All
right, let's get a scope of your career here. So you were telling me you've done a lot of traveling, you've done some high profile cases. How did you get started? And maybe tell us a little bit about how you were able to connect with other players in the field around the world and stuff, and how you've kind of gotten to the point you're at now.
All right. Well, I grew up with a mother that loves ghosts. And so she would read me and my sister's ghost stories ever since we were little kids. So for me, it was always a fascination with these stories. Did people really experience this phenomena? Now, you have to understand that when I got involved in ghost hunting, it wasn't as popular as it is today. So there weren't all these television shows, promoting ghost hunting. And I was the oddball out because I was more curious about the phenomena. Most people involved at the time were actually those who had experiences, those who grew up in haunted homes. So I was always envious of these people. It's like, wow, you experienced that? That's amazing.
Yeah, I remember that feeling too. Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's completely opposite. Most people are involved because they're curious, because they've seen all these television shows. But for me, I had lived in California for a short time, and that's when I started getting involved in the fields. I started working with a lot of the names out there, and then I had moved back to Washington back in 2000. And I wanted to do some ghost hunting. It was around Halloween. And there was no ghost hunting groups at the time, so I decided to call all my buddies. And I said, hey guys, there's this great cemetery down the street, so let's go check it out. And they're like, yeah, that sounds great, but can we hit all the bars
Weed
first?
was cheap back then. We do a lot of ghost hunting.
So, yeah, I'm thinking, okay, it's great, they want to go ghost hunting, but I don't want a bunch of drunks in the cemetery. I'm serious about this. I really want to have, an experience.
Sure.
So a friend of mine just said, well, why don't you start your own group? So I did. And a ghost just took off like crazy.
A ghost is, by the way,
that's
over 100 members at a time.
The acronym for
okay. I was like,
yeah, it's a great one.
Saw one. Finally.
And
That's what I thought at
so I
first.
started traveling all over the place, all over the world, learning more about different cultures, different ghosts, and seeing some amazing places. You can only imagine some of these places.
Were you able to travel based on your investigations, or was this something that you just kind of funded yourself?
Oh, I funded myself.
Okay.
A lot of this, anybody in this field knows, a lot of this comes out of our own pockets.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Now I'm at a point where, I've been successful. I've been doing this long enough, especially with my lecture tours and my books. And now with, Spooked in Seattle Ghost Tours, there's a little more extra money that comes from the business part that we can put into a ghost, to the point where now we've, obtained 3 thermal cameras. So it's been successful, and anybody that's very serious about this, I always encourage them. You could be here too. It is a lot of work though.
Yeah, from what we've interviewed a lot of investigators, and it sounds like it's you just get into it slowly, trial and error, and just start working. And one thing I've noticed is it is a tight knit community. If I know one paranormal investigator and I mention another one who lives 3 or 4 hours away, the chances are they know each other. I've noticed that's kind of a very closed community sort of thing. It's like not a lot of people outside of the community seem to take it real seriously, and there's a very kind of family sort of aspect of it that's like, okay, well, hey, if you're in the fold, you're doing something to kind of what?
It's more like, hey, you want to be crazy with me? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because people are going to there is a certain amount of people that are just going to kind of write you off. And
Anybody,
say,
people who are into stuff tend to be around other people that are into that same thing, whether it be drugs or ghosts or meditating or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
like attracts like.
Sure. Yeah. But there is sort of like an isolationist quality to this stuff. It's, I guess, well, like a lot of stuff, it's a lot of research. It's a lot of time alone. It's a lot of sitting there quietly. It's a lot of talking about subjects that society doesn't give a real serious kind of weight to, so you have to kind of generate that gravity yourself. And really, there might be a double standard in evidence and things like that for this kind of stuff too. But, it's a very interesting group of people, that's for sure. So you started writing to I guess to make some extra money, or did you have something that you couldn't stand and you had to get it out of you?
Well, I think a lot of it is, unfortunately, in this field, and what I found throughout the years I've been involved is a lot of these groups get out there and they do amazing investigations, and they walk away with amazing evidence at times too, but they never do anything with it.
Yes.
And then when the groups fold,
no, that's always
the evidence just disappears.
I know. I've heard so many times. We've had so many people on the show that we go, hey, they'll tell us a story. Oh, cool. Do you have the audio from that? No, it was in a computer that we lost. Oh, okay. Well, we took video, but we don't know what to do with it. It's at my aunt's house. Like, what is going on with these places? You're definitely right. They'll have all this amazing stuff when you coax it out of them, but they just do not have a lot of them don't have this real impressive, presentation and stuff like that.
Right. And so, my goal was to at least get the stories out there. You can't, unfortunately, embed a video in a book or an audio clip, but at least the stories are out there. These people's experiences can continue on even after I'm gone, even after the group's gone. So that's been one of my goals, is to at least try and get as much of this published as possible. Of course, and one of the other ideas that I was trying to work on is developing a database that will continue to move on after all these groups have folded, that we can all put our information.
I feel like there should be one already.
Stuff.
Yeah, I can't believe there isn't one.
Wow, that'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, so you're familiar with like MUFON for UFO sightings. Are you talking about something similar to that? Like
something similar to that, but a lot of the stuff needs to be filtered as well, because due to the hype of ghost hunting, there's so many groups out there that don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're just imitating what they see on TV. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad evidence out there as well. So I thought, it'd be nice to have some sort of board that will actually, review this evidence and say, yes, we will accept it into our database as questionable evidence, and say, okay, here. We're not saying that, yes, this is definitely a ghost, but this is something that's going to make you watch it and listen to it and say, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And be able to go from there.
I'm in full support of that. Hey, we'll help you out any way we can with that. If you want to keep in touch, we'll get the word out, because we talk to a new investigation group almost every week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a great idea. Write that down. Let's keep that on the radar.
You're stealing his idea.
No. I just want to remember that we talked about it. That's all. No. I
got a question for the guest. Have you ever been out to the Midwest, this area, Illinois, perhaps?
Oh yeah, I've been all over the place.
What's the craziest place in Illinois you've been to? Do you remember?
Oh, offhand, I can't even remember.
I'll give you a list of haunted places.
So many different colleges around the areas and stuff. In fact, I'm getting ready to go out to Kansas City, Missouri, to do some stuff at some of the colleges. Like I've been to like Park University, that type of stuff. So I've been all over the place, Wisconsin, that type of stuff. I just apologize because there's been so many places. It's hard for me to remember which one's from which.
I'm sorry. What do we got around here that we know about? We got.
Well, you've heard of what are you referencing colleges? Are you talking about like speaking stuff that you're doing, or?
Oh yeah, I go to all kinds of different colleges. In fact, I'm getting ready to leave in a couple weeks for a tour for a month and a half.
We were confused here for a second.
We thought you were talking about.
I was asking you if you were investigating in Illinois, and I was like, "Why is this guy going to colleges to get ghosts?" and we're looking at each other.
I lecture for the students.
Oh, I mean, I was speaking of investigations in this area, because
although most colleges have their share of ghost stories. They're like
for sure.
Anything like it's like a hotel. It's got so many people that goes through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we were just out. We were all excited because we went to Manteno
State Hospital. That place
which is
fucking crazy.
Which is one of those abandoned mental asylums, from the first half of the 1900s that were just barbaric, basically like torture center kind of places,
Right.
So we went out there this year, and it left like a profound effect on both of us. Just the place was just different than anywhere I've ever been in my life. It was so creepy and weird. And I've been doing this kind of thing, once I'm sure you've had the same experience. Once in a while you see a place that just leaves an impression on you, and I think that's probably what my co-host was getting at. Have you done any of the old like asylums or cemeteries around here or anything like that? Where have you been around here?
All over the place. A lot of stuff I've done is pretty much around here, but Waverly Hills, that type of stuff.
Is that one of the old
I've had
asylums?
those opportunities as well.
Yeah.
I'm just unfortunately I just can't think of anything offhand unless I
that's all right.
bring it up on my computer.
No, that's cool. I don't know what point you're getting to.
Like
here,
there's a lot of haunted places in Illinois here. I mean,
like everywhere.
I was wondering
though.
if he's investigating.
Well, yeah, like Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, we've been there a ton of times. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be there. You have to go there like 10 times by the time you're 20, or we kick you out of the state.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. I'm serious.
So so you've been to Bachelor's Grove. What'd you think of that?
I thought it was pretty interesting. I love the history of it.
Sure. Yeah.
And then plus, there's that famous ghost photo taken there.
The lady in white.
Yeah, the lady.
Yeah, I actually have a photo of me sitting on that grave the same way.
I didn't experience anything there. I know, due to the fact that because of a lot of the vandalism and stuff like that, because I actually contacted the police department to check, because I didn't know where it was. The instructions that I had were very vague, and I knew you had to find this dirt road to get to it.
Yeah, I could have told you.
Yeah.
And and they towed your car because you parked it illegally, I bet.
They did tell me that you have to be very careful because they will definitely kick you out.
Oh,
I was like, well, who do I get permission? And they didn't know. So
there's a Bachelor's Grove. So I've actually been there. That was kind of a high school hangout for me, and we used to go there, and sit out all night and try to wait for something to happen and stuff. And I researched it quite a bit. There's like a restoration society that worked a lot to restore the cemetery, and actually was working to find descendants, I guess, and help get some of the bodies identified and relocated, and if necessary, and get new tombstones. And they were keeping the place mowed and all this stuff. And they even located the old sign that somebody stole, I think in the late 50s. They found that the guy stole it as a kid and brought it to them. So they're doing a lot of good work. They got shut down by the county, and their thoughts, I've talked to a few of them, they think that the county wants to develop the whole area as real estate. The Cook County Real Estate Commission owns the whole area, and they're trying to basically diminish the historical value of the place, I guess, and let it get overrun until it's a public nuisance, and the neighborhood, and the town votes to get rid of it and relocate it. And
the only reason that probably hasn't happened yet is because there's money on the other side that doesn't want that to be excavated, because there's probably like millions of mob kills there.
They're also waiting for a statute of limitations on how long they have to contact descendants of the people. They haven't been able to identify a lot of the bodies and stuff. But basically, it's a whole local politics thing over there. So now they've told the restoration committee that they're not allowed to keep the place up anymore. And if they catch anyone mowing the lawn or trimming anything or cleaning headstones, that they'll arrest them, because it's part of their insurance. They don't have liability for anyone to be there working.
Fucking bullshit.
They're just maniacs. Yeah, they're just complete maniacs.
That's sad.
Yeah. So that's what's going on at Bachelor's Grove.
I was going to say, that's not the first, though. That's happened to quite a few of our historic cemeteries. There's lots of stories, even here in Seattle, where they've actually decided that the land was more popular and more value than it was as a cemetery. So, of course, let's move the tombstones,
right?
Not the bodies. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Oh yeah, let's create a what's it called? Poltergeist. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't come up with it.
Yeah, definitely. Then you build houses on it, and then little kids start moving shit with their brain. Yeah, you can't do that.
They can't do that.
That's like the Indian burial. What's that movie where shit come back to life?
I live on a Native American burial ground right now.
Oh Jesus, that's why you're so fucked up.
No, and it's a really active location, as you know.
I do know that.
It's very strange over there.
I didn't even say I got scratches on my face after that fucking Manteno State Hospital.
Yeah, we did experience a couple of scratches.
No, I had 3 here, like in straight lines, 3 here. They were showing up.
We didn't talk about that on the show?
No. They were showing up periodically. Like the next day I had like 3 lines. I was like, what the fuck? The next day I had 3 more lines in a different location, all over my face too.
Yeah,
they were very, 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 very small, fine scratches. Nothing could have done it.
And we're not big into the psychic,
I threw the evidence away.
The psychic and sensitive stuff. And I know you're more kind of into the science aspect of stuff too. Well, I think you are at least. But we both were and we had another guy with us, and man, did we all feel just dark and creepy after that. It was just, the place just left a dark impression. It was just very strange.
The place was great, but when it was time to go, it was time to go, and we all knew it.
Yeah, it was like,
you know what I mean?
We started
to
all feel weird. Let's just get out. We were there for what, 3 hours?
For a while.
Yeah. We didn't kind of just peek in. I mean, we were there for quite a bit, and we went in the attic and everything, and took all kinds of pictures and stuff. And then it was just came to a time where it was like we all said at the same time, "You guys want to go? Let's just get out." You know, this is. It just felt dark, man. And
well, I got a story for you guys.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I was actually lecturing at St. Louis University. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, but this is where the true Exorcist case took place.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is this is where the original.
To do my lecture, and when I do my lecture, I'll also take the students on a ghost hunt of their campus. So I was actually taken to the building that the boy had actually stayed in. If you're not familiar with the true story, is actually about a little boy, not a little girl named Linda Blair, just so you know.
Right, yeah.
And I was brought to the campus. I did my lecture. I actually get taken to this one building that was owned by the church at the time. Now it's been sold to the campus, and they use it for classes. And to my surprise, when they took me to the 4th floor of this building, I found that it was completely abandoned. And graffiti everywhere, holes in the walls, and I'm, thinking, gosh, this is kind of interesting, especially when I had been through the first 3 floors, and they were really, really nice. So I was kind of surprised at this whole 4th floor, which was huge up there, that they would just abandon the spot. And, proceeded to, tell me some interesting stories. They said, well, the reason why they don't do anything on the 4th floor is because they've had too many problems on the 4th floor, hinting around to paranormal activity. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely intrigued by all this.
What if it was bad plumbing?
Well, yeah, bad plumbing.
Well, they didn't say why.
So we walk around, and I go through a lot of the different rooms, and I could see that there used to be some classrooms on the 4th floor, and this was actually when the church owned it. The nuns used to teach Sunday school on the top floor.
Yeah.
So it's still remnants of that.
That's where suicide started.
What's that?
No. Sorry, I was making a dumb joke. Continue.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
It's just creepy, the nuns on the roof. That's weird.
I continue on through all the different rooms, and one of the things that I noticed right away is that there was no doors up there. And come to find out that security had removed all the doors because they've had problems with students sneaking up there and scaring each other. So I thought, okay, that makes sense. They can allow themselves to walk around and not have to find people hiding behind doors. Well, I finally get into this one room, and as soon as I step into the room, I hear this crunch underneath my feet. And I look down, and I shine my flashlight down there, and I see that I had stepped on a dead bird. And I thought, okay, I've been in a lot of abandoned places, and animals get in there and they die. It's nothing unusual for me. But as I shined my light through the rest of the room, I found that there was just dozens and dozens of dead birds all in this tiny little room. And I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of odd, especially when there's no doors.
Wow.
Why did the birds all choose to die in this one room? Well, come to find out, this is the room that the boy had stayed in.
No.
Now, if you're not familiar with the case, there is many different talks about what actually happened. But when the boy had stayed in the building and in that room, there had been multiple exorcisms done on the boy. And they did this in various different places because the belief was that they couldn't bring the boy into the church because they thought that this could kill the boy. So they performed different exorcisms on this boy in different secret locations until I believe that they completed the last one at the hospital, local hospital there. Now, I'm realizing I'm standing in a room where an exorcism had been performed. It's filled with dozens of dead birds. Okay, creep factor has just now gone up a bit.
Yeah.
Now, I'll give the students some of the basic equipment that we use on our ghost hunts, EMF detector, compass, that type of stuff. And as soon as we got into the room, and no more than 5 minutes had passed, when all of a sudden all of our equipment goes off at the exact same time. We're talking the temperature started to drop rapidly, almost to the point where I believe you could almost see your breath. Then the EMF detector, it's going off like crazy. And we can't find out where this EMF source is coming from. But it's just going off. The compass is spinning around and around and around, and it will not stop. This is all happening at the exact same time. Now, I'm like, oh my God, this is really happening.
Yeah, that's got to be surreal, for sure.
Yeah, I got to document this.
Yeah.
And because I don't have my normal team with me, so I'm like, trying to do the best I can. Now, I could take pictures, but pictures aren't going to prove to you that we're experiencing this.
Wait a minute.
Luckily, my camera shoots in infrared video. So I switched my camera over to video really quick. I start filming everything that's going on. I'm, getting the students to tell me and show me the equipment that it's really going off. And after we, documented all the equipment going off at the exact same time, I figured it started to slow down a little bit. I realized, okay, maybe we should try for some EVPs because obviously something's happening here. So I start asking questions into the air. Well, I finally asked the question, can you tell me whose room this is? Now, of course, there's, 15 seconds of silence. And right after that, I start to hear crying to the left of me. And I realize that a couple of the female students have started to cry because they're so terrified being in this room and experiencing all this. And so I'm realizing, okay, they're uncomfortable. I have to admit, I'm a bit uncomfortable because I don't know what I'm up against. And for me, it's always safety first. Now, I don't have my normal team with me. I just have a bunch of students. So I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I don't know what's going on here, but I need to get these guys out of this room. So we decided to move on and continue on with our investigation elsewhere. Well, I finally got home. And I started reviewing all of my evidence that I collected at all these campuses. And I finally got to that video. And I get to the part of the video where I asked, can you tell me whose room this is? Right after that, I got the response, fuck you, it's mine.
Oh, nice.
I didn't expect that part.
Do you have that?
The fuck, you just said fuck you.
What? Yeah.
I do have it. I'm actually holding on to it for my next book release. So
did they talk like
as soon
that
as the
though?
book
Wait,
comes
so
out,
you're
I
not-
will make that public so everybody can check it out.
Oh.
You're not going to reveal it until then?
I do review it on my lecture tours. I'll play it for them on the campuses and stuff, but I haven't put it on our website yet until I release the book.
So when is that going to be out? When's the next one coming out?
Next one comes out in a year. So,
I
but
don't
maybe
know.
if you guys are good for
Okay.
Christmas, I might let you listen to it.
Ooh, yeah. What? How long? So that's only a couple months we'd have to wait.
What do we got? What do we got to do? Just let us know. We'll do it.
Yeah. Well,
What's that?
if you wanna break that on our show, that would be huge for us. Just let us know. We'll make the deal if you need a little envelope in the mail or whatever you need.
Whatever
know.
you
Some
Some of Mom's apple pie. Bring it
is
over.
pretty amazing, and it's and I am going to get it out there for everybody. I do use it on my lecture tour, but I just want to. I think it would be a great push for when my book comes out. So
You know what?
that's why I'm kind of holding on to it a little bit.
One of our listeners just sent this in. I think he may have hacked your computer and found the EVP. Let's see. Did it sound anything like this? Hang on.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Hang on. Somebody just
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Close,
Fuck you!
but
Fuck you!
not
Fuck
quite.
you!
somebody just sent this to us.
Fuck you to all you 13, 14, and 15-year-old fucking little kids who are telling me I need to fucking lose weight!
No, that wasn't it.
How?
Sorry, well, I thought that might have been it. No.
Am I? Okay.
I have to be honest. If I had gotten that as an EVP, I'd probably be laughing more than I would have gotten the chill.
I have. Am I mistaken when I thought I heard you say the compass was spinning around or something like that?
Yeah, the compass, it was just going off like
I've
crazy.
seen that in like 100 movies.
Yeah.
And every time in the movie, it means something really important. Right after that.
It usually means something crazy.
Yeah,
is about
something's
to happen.
about to happen.
Yeah.
Something's about to go down. Usually, it's like
So,
approaching an island or the Bermuda Triangle, that kind of shit.
That
Anyway.
had to be that had to be an insane moment. You're up in the room where the actual Exorcist case happened. There's dead birds. Compasses are spinning.
Your clock is spinning backward. Your watch is going in reverse.
Yeah.
It's flashing lights. That's how I picture it.
There's one of the girls just starts speaking in Latin. Like really low voice.
He was pretty close to that. I mean, that's weird.
So did you feel now? I've had a couple of experiences that really aren't even worth mentioning anecdotally, but they are I always had this feeling like there was a tension building up, and then maybe the experience would happen, and then it was like a release, and everything would kind of dissipate and return back into like the regular relaxed kind of state. Was there any kind of build up there for you of where you felt like I guess the one time I saw a shadow person, it seemed to me like a purging thing. Like I started to get nervous. It started building up. The room got really tense and bulbous seeming kind of, and everything was just weird and intense. And then this kind of figure walked by and dissipated into the rest of the shadows, and everything kind of just relaxed back into evenness. Was there? Have you had that kind of experience, or am I way off there?
No. You're absolutely right. In fact, like I said, when we first walked in there, everything went off like crazy at the exact same time. And then once it started to slow down, that's when I tried for the EVP session. And as soon as, the girls started crying, we were out of there. So, we didn't stay till it completely died, as much as I would have liked to. But again, I didn't have my normal team with me. And I will admit, I've been to some of the deepest, darkest places throughout the world, and I'm hardly fazed by this. But that is the one place I probably would not want to investigate by myself.
Yeah, that's
so for me. Yeah, and I just had to get everybody out of there.
But that was
we don't need the entity 2 case coming out.
That was also that was a really one of the most famous cases of evil being, a spirit or something that seemed to be just completely vicious and dark. There aren't a lot of credible cases like that out there. Do you find that to be... What was the name of the actual kid, by the way, who was possessed there?
I don't... Yeah, I know they changed his name to Robbie, so a lot of the cases, if you look it up, you'll see the name Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
They did that to protect his identity. But I know he's recently come forward. In fact, I believe the Booth brothers did a documentary on him on that case, so I'm kind of curious to see how that turned out.
So they didn't want his identity to be revealed? I think that should be like child molesters database. I think that if you're possessed, I should know where you live near me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's completely wrong and backwards.
Once possessed, always possessed.
Oh, no, you should have to register, call the police department before you leave for work, and then after you come home. You're possessed.
Sir, have you had any? Has your head spun around today, or have you cursed any? Clergymen.
We should get cell phone alerts when we're near them.
Yes.
No, there's an app. They can make an app.
Possession victims. Would you find there to be any validity to our guest again? If you're just joining us, Ross Allison, author and paranormal guru of various forms. Do you find any validity to the kind of craze about demonic possession? We've got a guest coming up in a few weeks that says they're doing demonic possession cases every week or two. Do you find that a lot of these are bullshit, or what is the deal with a lot of these?
Well, for me, to be honest with you guys, I've always kept religion out of it. I've always, wanted to pursue things on a scientific basis, and I always wanted to be respectful towards everybody's different beliefs. I'm not going to tell you one religion's right and the rest are wrong. Who am I to say? So
you're Ross fucking Allison,
me,
yeah, right?
It was one of those cases that definitely opened my mind a little bit more. I've always believed that, you can have good spirits and you can have, bad spirits as well. But, are they all angels and demons? There's a lot of bad people in the world too. So it's very possible that, a lot of this negative energy that people experience may just be an asshole. He was an asshole in life. He's an asshole in death.
Well,
so
a lot of people
I'm not going to label everything, negative as being a demon. But is it possible that spirits can attach themselves to you or even possess you? I think there are some people that are a little more susceptible to it, possibly. But then there's a lot, too, to mental illness that we still don't understand.
Yeah.
And I think there's just some people that are just crazy, and you just have to accept it.
Yeah, but you can usually tell who's crazy and who's not within 15 seconds of meeting them.
No.
I feel that way. What did you say?
Well, he said it. I think he agreed with you. I don't know, but
Oh, yeah, for sure.
No, man, it's a very complicated world out there. You can't make blanket statements like that. If you can make that statement, you should get rich writing books on psychology right now.
I can tell within 15 seconds of meeting anybody if they might kill me. And some of the times it's yes, some of the times it's no.
Nah, man. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes you'll think somebody's a great person. It'll go by 2 or 3 years.
You're talking about women. They can't hurt you if they're evil or good.
Sometimes it takes.
You are. Think about who you're talking about right now.
No.
They can't hurt you either way.
I was actually thinking about an old friend of mine that ended up stealing money and being a total crazy person. That was a guy. But
okay.
You know, it happens, man. People, another friend of mine just had his identity stolen by a friend he'd had for 15 years and was a business partner of. And just the guy stole his identity and paid all his hospital bills. People are nuts. They go nuts after, whatever.
They're not crazy. They're just selfish. Come on.
So let's get back. We want to do a couple things before we let you go, if you don't mind. I think you sent us a couple of EVPs. Is that what these are?
Yes, definitely.
So one, let's see what we got here. Let me pull these up. Sorry, I started talking before I was ready. All right, Turn on the Fan. I've got one called Turn on the Fan. Do you want to set this up for us?
Well, these were actually captured in the Seattle Underground. And what was going on is Seattle Underground is divided up into different sections. And so when we do our investigation, that means we can actually have 3 different teams. And what we'll do is after a certain amount of time, the teams will rotate so that they each have the opportunity to investigate each of these locations. Well, what's going on in this recording is one team was experiencing some interesting, what we call intelligent rapping. And that has nothing to do with hip-hop R&B. So this is where, you'll hear that knocking noise, and that knocking noise can respond to you. And that's what they were experiencing. So they're focused on the activity, not paying attention to the time. Well, it gets to be time to switch the teams. And so in the recording, what happens is one team walks in on this team that's experiencing this knocking noise, and the team lead says to the other team lead, "Oh, we were just getting somewhere too," referring to the activity they were picking up. But right after that, there's another voice that doesn't belong to anybody else on the team. In fact, it sounds like an elderly man with a Southern accent. So I'll let you guys play it, and then I'll complete the story.
Okay, you were cutting out there. Was that an elderly man with a Southern accent?
That is correct.
Okay, cool. All right, let's check this out. Here we go.
We were just getting somewhere, too. Turn on that fan.
Whoa!
Hang on, so that was, we were just getting somewhere, too.
That was creepy.
Can you just turn off that fan?
That was creepy.
Hang on, let's play that again. I totally heard it. Hang on.
Yeah.
We were just getting somewhere, too. Turn on that fan.
Oh, turn on that fan. I'm sorry.
Could you turn on that fan?
Could you turn on that fan?
That's creepy.
That
as
sounds
fuck.
like, I used to live in Louisiana. That sounds like people I knew. It was like that's like a. Nah, actually, you know what? That's North Louisiana. That's almost
was
like
it hotter? Was it hot in
there? Alabama accent.
Oh yeah. Now, what makes this very credible for us is the underground actually has fans running 24/7 to keep the air circulated down there. Well, when we did our investigation, we had to have a controlled environment. So we had turned off all the fans because we didn't want the breezes or the noises. And yet there's somebody down there telling us to turn on that fan.
Let me play this one more time. I'm sure people at home want to hear it one more time. Let's
play it 2 times in a row. I want to hear it
play it 2 times in a row. Here we go.
We were just getting somewhere, too. Turn on that fan.
You could turn on that fan. Yeah, that's fucking clear as day.
We were just getting somewhere, too. Turn on that fan.
Usually these things sound like shit. This sounds clear.
It's not usually they sound like shit. It's when they're on fucking TV and high-profile documentaries. For some reason, they always sound like shit. We have guests on this show that like 4 or 5 of them have had awesome EVPs like this.
For real.
That's a great one. Yeah, that's very clear.
Yeah.
And that's amazing that now you obviously no one heard that in the room at the time, right?
No.
No, and
Yeah, we've got. Go ahead.
how does that work? What is it? Is it something about it being digital recording? Would it work the same if you recorded on tape or?
Yeah, I always encourage everybody to go back to our roots. I know we're all moving to the digital age. It's cheap, once you get that nice recorder. But I feel that we're missing some elements to some of these investigations because it's a totally different process, when you record with digital and then when you record with a cassette tape. So I think there might be some things that we could be missing out on if we don't go back to some of our roots. Same thing with film. I encourage people to use film as well.
Exactly.
Because this is where it all started.
When you're talking about, and you're a science guy, so a lot of times with this paranormal stuff, what we've come to learn in recent years is we're dealing with maybe some kind of manifestations in an electromagnetic field that are able to arrange particles in a certain way to form an apparition or something. So it would make sense to me that the magnetic particles on a tape or a film strip would possibly correspond to electromagnetic anomalies that we might read as paranormal now. Is that kind of where you're going with that, where it's it's a magnetic field issue, or?
Yeah. Well, there's lots of different theories out there as to what a ghost is. But yes, being that is one of the most common beliefs, I totally agree with that.
Well, we are electromagnetic. That's a fact. We are. Our bodies do emit electromagnetic pulses, our thoughts, and all that shit. So if you have a tape rather than a machine that puts digital data into a fucking card,
just writes ones and zeros. Yeah.
Actually, the tape is actually capturing reality better than. Because it has that aspect to it.
Musicians love to record on 2-inch tape to this day. We work in a studio here, and man, people just go nuts for old 2-inch tape, and no one can quite explain why. There's not a guy that goes it's because of this resolution or that. It's because, people will say it sounds more lifelike, it sounds warmer, it sounds nice. It's it just is part. Yeah, it's closer to reality, I guess. I never thought of that.
Right.
So, pretty much you're probably, so are these done, are you recording on tape? Is that what's going on here?
We do both.
Okay.
It's nice to have instant results, especially with, digital cameras, but we'll use film too. And I encourage people, if you're dealing with a very active encounter, just bring out, and I know film's getting harder to find and tapes are getting harder to find too, but I encourage you to at least try it in a situation where you are experiencing a lot of phenomena. So you're not wasting the tape, each time you do an investigation. Save it for the best stuff,
This is making a whole lot of sense.
There's a lot going on right now. Let's
it's
get
making
this
me
on
think
tape as
about
well.
it.
Let's use film as well.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great point. And that's something I never thought of, but I feel kind of dumb that I never thought of that.
Well,
actually,
now it actually makes sense because film's good with light waves. Why not other frequency waves?
Sorry, I accidentally started playing other.
That's probably why you'd see orbs and shit. You know what I mean?
Sure. And that's why probably orbs are probably more reliable on film than they are with digital cameras.
Because they're actual waves entering a lens going through a film.
Because certainly a lot of orbs are just dust particles or whatever, little lens flare or something.
I feel like we're the smartest people in the world.
And that's one reason why it's so hard to submit, because there's so many dust particles that are being captured with digital cameras nowadays, rather than they were when we were just using film. The orb phenomenon didn't become popular until digital cameras started coming out.
So you could just take it. They're everywhere when you're looking for them. Yeah. I've been to Bachelor's Grove and
people, if they're
had
going to use
50
digital
of them.
cameras, get a digital camera that doesn't have a flash next to the lens. You're not going to get the dust particles like you would with when the flash is closer to the lens, because that's what causes that phenomenon.
All right, that's some good take on modern ghost hunting from Ross Allison, who's been in the game quite a bit longer than probably anyone we've interviewed, actually. I noticed that when I use this one directory to find a lot of paranormal investigators, and most of them were started around the year 2000. Most of the ones that are kind of reliable and decent and still going on. There was seems to be a big boom at the end of the 90s, early 2000s. And I guess that was pretty much when all those shows were coming out and getting big and stuff, right? And that was I guess...
It was actually 2004 is when Ghost Hunters made the air.
Okay.
You know, when I got involved, the only ghost hunting show I had to rely on was like Haunted History on the History Channel, and then there was one? God, Unsolved Mysteries.
Unsolved Mysteries would have a ghost story once in a while. Yeah. And they would always be real stupid, too. It would just be the worst. And they're reenactments, you know, like a girl on roller skates who's, you know, like backlit in a white dress. Like, it's just the worst. I used to watch out, but that was the best. TV wasn't that good. That was all you had. That was. I used to watch that show religiously.
What's that paranormal team that they're like big muscular guys, and they're like investigators, and they go sit in buildings, the taps.
No.
These
and
guys they just cry when they hear a whisper. They both freak out like little babies.
Let's get out of here.
I think they're homosexuals because they go in there and they're like, okay, now let's listen for ghosts. We're really serious about it. Then they hear like a little whisper or like a fucking something drop, and then they go, did you hear that? Did you fucking hear that? And they run out. Like, are you there to fucking get evidence? Or are you there to get scared and run out? Big muscular fags.
Yeah, I know. Those are the same guys that go in the like they'll do their EVP sessions in like that like really jockey kind of like, hey, come on, you scared to come out? Why don't you talk to us? What are you, big baby? You big stupid ghost? What are you mad you died?
What do you got?
Ghost Adventures.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's Travel Channel.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. Just shut the fuck up and get the evidence.
Started on that one.
No, those guys are great. Although they did, I will hand it to them. They at least made the connection between water. I watched one episode of their show where they realized that water is a key factor in like the prevalence of paranormal activity in a place. It tends to be connected to waterways and stuff like that, or underground rivers are huge, and you know things like that.
That's good.
They did make that connection. Which
I figured that out
for.
talking to my friends. So did you probably.
Yeah, but that when they made the connection, it wasn't widely talked about. But anyways, let's get on to this other one, and we'll let you go. We got a shitload of other stuff we got to get to, anyways. But we could talk all night. I'm sure we'll have you on again some other time, for sure.
Anytime, you guys.
We'll keep in touch about the
exclusive footage that you've already promised us. Remember,
that could be the most. No, honestly, and not you don't even. I mean, beyond making some deal with us, just my own kind of conjecture. That could be potentially the most famous EVP of all time. When you put that out, I mean, because
it's the spinning, right?
No, he's talking about putting out the EVP of the fuck you in the room where the original Exorcist story took place.
Is that this?
No, what I'm talking about, dude.
I'm confused, man.
Yeah, we'll pay more attention. No, he's talking about the EVP that he said he might release to us this for a Christmas present. Of the kid telling him to fuck, or the demon in the Exorcist room.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you remember.
The fat guy yelling threw me off. Like wiped that from my memory.
Yeah, the fat guy yelling just wiped everything else.
I couldn't pay attention to anything.
The fuck you guy. Yeah. But let's do this last one. It's called. I'm almost kind of creeped out already. It's called Children Singing. What are we looking at here?
All right, with the children singing again, Seattle Underground. I was doing an investigation for a local TV news crew, and we were wrapping up our investigation. It was around 4:00 in the morning, and before we wrapped up, the guy with the TV news crew says, "Do you mind if we do like a quick 10-minute interview with you before we head out for the night?" And I said, "Sure, not a problem." He said, "It'll be real quick, just 10 minutes." And I said, "Okay, I am tired, but I'll do my best for this interview." Well, what was supposed to be just a 10-minute interview ended up being over 45 minutes long, and kept having to stop and start over again and over again and over again. So they kept asking me the same question over and over and over. So I'm tired. I'm getting annoyed. I'm not sure what's going on because I can see that they're struggling with something. So I finally asked him, I said, guys, is there something I can help you with? There seems to be something going on here. Now, the guy with the audio equipment, he pulls off the headphones, and he looks at me and he says, "I'm so sorry, Ross." He says, "The darndest thing keeps happening. Every time you start to talk, we keep getting all these interruptions. We're not sure where the hell that's coming from."
Whoa.
And so I realized that these guys are on a delay system. A lot of professional recorders will be on a 3-second delay so that the guy with the headphones can hear to make sure that they have the best audio before they go back to the studio for editing. So little does this guy know, he's hearing these EVPs as they happen. So the very next day, he sends me a bunch of these clips throughout the interview. And this is one of the clips that he sent me.
All right, let's check this out.
Environment. Let us know if anything changes in the environment. It reduces the graph. It lets us know if the temperature changed, how much it actually changed, any EMF readings were in there.
Ooh, that was strange.
That is strange.
Let's listen to that one more time. Hang on. What did you want to say, Anna?
I got like major goosebumps. That was so creepy.
Yeah, hang on. So that's some that is some classic Creepville children singing. Hold on a second here. Let's hear that one more time.
Let us know if anything changes in the environment. It reduces the graph. It lets us know if the temperature changed, how much it actually changed, any EMF readings were in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's very creepy. That's all I could say. Our fact checker's got like tears in her eyes. She's like,
I'm freaked.
To me, it sounded like a really, really, really large room, like a train station or something.
Yeah,
It was weird.
and it was. You know, I'm in the underground. It's a big tunnel system. You can hear me being interviewed. I'm talking in the background.
No, it sounds bigger than that. It sounds like a mall.
Filtering to kind of pull the EVPs up forward a little bit more. But clear enough, you can hear the kids talking, giggling, and then they start to sing.
yeah, they sure do. I mean, it's like, and it had the almost like the Doppler effect of like they were like kind of skipping past or something, you know, and they kind of just sang past and just.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
Yeah. Man, that's another very creepy one for sure. The children singing. What do you got on that? Anything?
I don't think it. Play it one more time.
All right, one more time.
Yeah, because
One more time.
I don't feel like it was children singing. It sounded like I don't know. It sounded like you were at. It kind of sounds like you're in the fucking marine mammal house at the zoo or something. Just play it again.
Like animal sounds.
Just listen.
Hang on.
Environment. Let us know if anything changes in the environment. It reduces the graph. It lets us know if the temperature changed.
Marine mammals.
No, that's
No, it's like little girls skipping.
No,
in dresses.
I get that too. I get that
that's-
too. But that's like distorted. It's not. Like,
no,
you
but
know
it's
what I
got
mean?
like if you listen to especially the beginning of it, it's
Yeah,
got
play
the
it again.
It's
Play it
got
again.
at the beginning of it has that unmistakable sing-songy, playful child.
I'm gonna
voice,
try to think
you know?
child singing. I'm gonna try think it hard.
Well,
play it
no,
one more time.
don't even try to do that. But like as a full-grown human of your species, you're hardwired to recognize the sounds of children. So just listen here.
That sounds creepy. Keep
well,
play the
it's
thing.
true. Hang on. I hear it. I mean, because I'm trying to think what, you know, and there's this kind of weird group singing thing going on, and like, what is it? It's not like a car horn. It's not like it's not some, you know, I can't really think of any way to kind of explain it, you know. Can you? I don't know.
Play it again. Play it
Play it again?
We gotta hear
Holy
it again.
shit. All right.
This is
one more,
cool.
this is it.
I gotta hear
This
it.
is it. One more time. That's it. Here we go.
I'm gonna tell you if you're right.
Did you hear the volume? How far away were you from the recorder when this happened?
Well, I would have been right and directly in front of the recorder. But again, we had put this through a filtering system to kind of bring out the background noise so you could hear them more clear than my interview
That's what I was
itself.
hearing then.
Yeah.
I have a question. Did you ever think that they said actual words? Do you think they say something, or it's just sounds, or just humming? Right?
They're just kind of humming. There's a la, 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 but we can't figure out what song they're singing. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough.
How much time did
but
you
it's
spend trying to figure out what song that was?
Yeah. But it's just, again, one of those interesting things that you capture
Should've
and you just
plus
like,
Kazam.
what the hell was that?
Yeah, that's very creepy. And it's funny, you know. I mean, it's like it's got that feeling of like you. There's no mistaking the sound of like kids singing. You did it as kids. You've heard kids do it ever since. It's just, you know.
I didn't hear it.
That's because you're dark and wilted.
No, I heard the other.
like.
No, you say here's an EVP of an old man saying turn the fan on, and it was, and then he says this is one of children. I don't hear
Dude,
the children.
I don't know how you're not hearing it.
It sounds like a malfunctioning engine belt or something. Just listen to it. It's weird.
You're just hearing
at a distance.
No, there's a squeak in the background that's like brakes. There's like brake squeaking in the background.
Am I hearing
at
the
same
wrong
time.
thing?
Yeah, you're probably listening to the wrong thing.
God damn it!
There's like brake squeaking in the background, but there's also this something, you know.
Oh.
You didn't hear that?
Yeah, for all we know, they could have been.
It doesn't sound
conjuring up
like
Satan.
human
I'm not
children,
sure.
girls.
No, yeah, I think it could be. I mean, really, it could be anything. But it's very. I mean, this is
It
why
sounds
we
like a-
study it. You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it sounds like
it's,
a train coming to a stop. Maybe that's what it was, a ghost
no,
train.
you're not listening to the right.
Something.
You're just not. Maybe you're.
How am I not hearing this?
I don't know. Certain people's ears are blown out at different frequencies.
Play
I
it
don't
one
know.
more time.
No, we've done it. That's like 10 times.
I can't get that.
Okay.
I can't handle it again.
Right there, that part. Listen,
That sounds like a train coming to a halt
you're not.
or something. I hear the ha ha ha, but
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like a human though.
Yeah, that's the part.
Sounds
Yes,
like it could
does.
sound like a human. I like it. No, I like it. Well,
No,
I like it. I believe that it's not something you made happen.
No,
Noise,
yeah.
You know,
No, it's definitely.
we all
interesting.
agree it's something.
And what I mean, sometime I would like to find out what kind of, because we're all like audio guys around here and stuff, and I maybe off air we can through email maybe find out what kind of, just out of curiosity and for our own research, what kind of filters you guys use and stuff to bring that out. And I don't know, I'm kind of interested because if they're using, you know, knowing that would allow us to say, okay, well then it's definitely not a sound from far away. It's not an echo. It's not this or that. You know, you could rule things out
leans
that
towards
way.
this
like,
frequency range. And
sure,
shit.
and you
can
could
figure
start
everything out
you could
about
start
this.
ruling things out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you got to understand too that this was recorded on the highest, professional equipment. This was a news crew, from one of the high-end news crews that came down to investigate with us for the night. So this is his equipment that's picking this up, and he can't figure out what's causing this. And it was happening throughout the night.
I wish there was more of it.
Well, why am I getting this disturbance?
I wish there was like 30 seconds of it I can listen to. Then I'd
yeah.
make my
Couldn't you get
decision.
couldn't you get 30 solid seconds of Ghost Girls?
He said it was happening all night. He couldn't figure it out, right?
No, yeah, there was a bunch of them, but
Yeah,
that's just one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that was
That's one of the best ones that I pulled out for you guys.
Okay.
yeah, that was awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Sorry I don't agree with what it is.
Well, whatever. That's
it's fine.
that's how these things are. Yeah. That's there's a lot of EVP arguments around the ghost community, and this is now we've just started another one. Hey, do you want us to give the number out for your tour?
Oh yeah, well you can definitely contact me through Spooked in Seattle, and we have a website, spookedinseattle.com, or you can also contact me directly through my website at rossallison.com, or even through our organization, A Ghost, which is at ghost.org. So you definitely, there's many different ways you can track me down, even on Facebook. So
Yeah, it was.
I'm out there.
I shared all that stuff on our page.
Thanks
so
for
we just-
coming
yeah,
on
we
our
just put
show,
up-
man. Sorry for being a dumbass.
No, you're all right.
All right. But that's what we do here.
This was a great interview. I appreciate it. And I just wanted to ask you one thing before you left. What is your opinion of the spirit box?
I am not a big follower on the spirit box.
What do you
Due
think?
to the fact, and this is why,
Go ahead.
I find it's too suggestive. I've actually I've done tests on this, where one of my classes that I teach on ghost hunting, I recorded like 3 hours of the spirit box. Then I took that recording and I played it to a group of students, and I told them that this was live. I did not tell them that it was pre-recorded. And throughout that recording, the 3-hour cycle, they were still able to pull out possible EVPs. And a couple of them were pretty convincing. But how is that possible off of something that was already pre-recorded?
Right.
So for me, I find that the spirit box is too suggestive. I'm not saying it doesn't work. There's been some pretty interesting stories that people have told me through their own personal experiences. But I find that through our own psychology, that if we're desperate enough to try and find answers, we will do any type of things to get those answers, even if it's taking random noises and getting the answers we need out of it.
That's a good lesson right there.
I agree.
For sure.
I think you guys should try more just weird, odd shit, too. Just maybe something will work,
Yeah, well, just keep. Hey, we talked to
Electromagnetic.
who did we talk to recently that used a it's I forget what it was called, but it's basically a divining rod.
Oh, the sticks, yeah.
Shit, who was that?
Oh, God.
A couple weeks ago. We talked to somebody who basically. Oh, it was the lady out in Delaware.
Oh yeah,
the lady out in Delaware. She said that she, as a form of channeling, basically. Would use like a divining rod, basically the same kind of setup. I forget what they called it. But I mean, yeah, why'd I even go into that in the first place? But
just talking about different ways.
There's different ways.
You should walk into you should look up every meter ever and bring them to a ghost hunt, and eventually bring all of them.
Oh, any kind of energy meter.
Just look up any sort of invisible wave meter, because and then bring them all out eventually and try them.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, we're really interested in the field, and we'll thank you for your service, so to speak.
Yeah, thanks.
And
no problem.
I don't know what all the devices are called. I know I sound stupid trying to come out with my idea, but I don't know what they're called.
But we're gonna stick with this, and
dowsing rods?
Dowsing rods. That's the that's the one.
I think people should go with radiation.
Right,
fucking
yes.
what do they call those? The
Geiger counter.
Geiger counter. They should use those. They should use everything. Figure out what's going on with these fucking.
Are you
ghosts,
talking about pendulums?
I don't know. With pendulums?
Pendulums, is that an old form of spirit detection?
Yes. Pendulums, dowsing rods, Ouija boards.
Yeah.
I'm not a big follower of them. I find that, again, it's the human body having too much control over the situation, and it's not proof to the paranormal.
I'm talking about, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But new technology that reads shit, I think it should be on the site.
Sure,
Right.
you just
Whatever
he
it
just he just wants to see people just trying anything.
I need them to be captured and put in. I'm so fucking driven for this.
Until it's until it's more of an exact science. I guess it's we're just gonna keep kind of reaching out and trying things. But I'm really excited to see the whole field kind of taking off, and the conversation's getting a little bit more serious, and there's more people approaching it maturely and doing real work on it. And yeah, man, hopefully in the next 10 to 15 years, we're looking at a whole different spectrum in terms of how people interpret this evidence and how it's, how seriously it's taken by society.
Right.
But
I think once the television shows are off the air, it will get serious again. Because a lot of these groups are popping up left and right because they're hoping to be the next Ghost Hunter show.
Yeah, well, you know what? TV's on its way out anyways.
The hardcore ghost hunters are going to stick with it, like me. I've been doing this before the television shows, and I will continue to do this after the television shows.
Yeah, I hate that you can't catch these things. I mean, we got to figure something out.
They're not like deer. They're
they should be.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy.
Ghostbusters did it.
Wouldn't you love to? Yeah. Couldn't there be some sort of electromagnetic fucking trap?
First, we have to understand what it is.
That's why we got to get all the meters out there.
We don't even have an exact science to work off of.
I know.
You can't. Yeah, obviously. I mean,
we got to work
right.
for something.
Anyways, we could go on with the stoner talk forever, but
we got to work towards something.
We gotta let Mr. Ross Allison go so we can take a break and get back and do the rest of our stories. So, thank you very much for the nice and compelling interview, and we'll stay in touch with you, and hopefully we'll get that that could make our careers, that EVP from the Exorcist case. So we will definitely stay in touch with you. And it's
this guy.
Haunted. What was the book? Tacoma's Haunted History, right? Tacoma's Haunted History.
Haunted History is the newest one. There's Spooked in Seattle and Ghostology 101.
Cool. Check those out, everybody. That was Ross Allison. Thank you very much for the interview,
man.
sir. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Be safe out there.
All right. Thank you. That was Ross Allison. There he goes off into the abyss of paranormal investigators. We have grilled, and he stood the test. I like that guy.
That guy was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like him.
I didn't hear those chicks. I swear to God, I didn't hear them.
They're like little girls. See, because you didn't have any sisters, huh?
No, I had sisters.
How many?
One.
No, you needed at least two.
Oh, I had girls.
You'd hear them.
What the fuck?
Because you'd hear them skip by and they sing and they fucking have stupid toys.
I've heard girls skip by and shit. I understand. I understood the Doppler effect thing, but actually it did sound like a fucking train wheel coming to a halt, like a squeaking like that.
You're listening to the wrong thing.
It was only 4 hits, right? It was like
listen to me.
Right?
You're listening to the wrong thing, and you at home are listening to the right thing. This is the Sunday evening overdose.
Don't go
We gotta take a quick break. Please don't fucking get.
You know
out
you don't want to get out of your lazy ass up anyway.
Back in my mind,
Be back.
like lateral pass, look curious. That kid that shines bright and look.